What is an application security? Well, securing an application is of utmost importance today, and it has two components basically. One is authentication, which means who you are, and the second one is authorization, which means what are you allowed to do. Let us look at these two terms with an example. Let's say there is a person who is having a valid personal identification number which establishes his identity of being a permanent citizen of the country, and he is like 16 years of age. Now let's say the country has some rule applied on who can vote, right? And the rule specifies that people above the age of 18 can only vote, which means the people who are below age 18, those are not authorized to participate in the voting. Now this person, despite of having a valid citizenship, which means he is authentic, he is not allowed to vote because he is not more than 18 years of age. So this is what authentication and authorization is. In an application, a resource is something with which the client interacts, right? And there can be multiple resources available. Some of them are protected or secured so that only authorized person, authorized user can access those resources, right? A simple example would be a normal user and an application admin. As a normal user, you can access any of the functionality of that particular application, but you will not have access to an admin section of that application because you are not authorized to do so. Then Spring Security has an architecture that is designed to separate authentication from authorization and has strategies and extension points for both. Let's understand what Spring Security is and how its architecture is. To start with, Spring Security has a series of servlet filters. As you can see in this particular image, when a client invokes a Spring application, the request goes through a series of filters and to a servlet, right? So Spring Security has a series of servlet filters or a filter chain. This picture shows the typical layering of the filters of a Spring like HTTP request, right? And one of the most common methods available in these filters are do filter method, which accepts request and response, HTTP request and HTTP response as input, and will give you an option to do some kind of logic. Like if you want to throw some exception, you can very well do that, and you can change that request to another filter, or you want to apply some check before sending it to the next filter, that you can do in this do filter method of each of the filters. The client sends a request to the application and Spring creates a filter chain which contains the filters and the servlet that should process the request based on the path of the request URI which client has sent. So the paths can be something like /*, which is like, let's say, not secured and it has access to every user. Then some of the paths of the resources can be /protected/*, which means that it is secured and only certain user will have access to this resource or this path. And for that, his request has to go through security filter chain and grab that authentication, and then only he can access this protected resource. So API paths which need to be authenticated are routed to a certain security filter chain by the delegating filter proxy that sits in this filter chain like this. So here there is a filter proxy chain or delegating filter proxy chain which sits between the filters, whose job is to delegate these API requests to a security filter chain, and there are various kinds of security filter chain available. Some of the common security filter chains are username password authentication filter, then basic authentication filter, then OAuth 2 login authentication filter, and there are much more. The lists are much longer, but we are only considering three basic security filter chains here. All of these filter chains comes under the security filter chain, right? And whenever a request is delegated by a delegating filter proxy, it goes to one of these security filter chain which is configured for that application. Now let's understand the flow with the diagram. Client request passes through the list of filters to the security filter chain via this delegating filter proxy to a specific authentication filter. So this authentication filter can be any of those, can be username or password authentication filter, can be basic authentication filter. So whatever filter is configured in the application, based on that, security filter chain will divert that request to that security filter. Then authentication filter forwards the request to authentication manager, and authentication manager's implementation is provider's manager, right? So this provider manager's job is to actually take in the request which is coming in and actually find an authentication provider which will actually do the job of authentication. Then authentication provider will look for the services available which can carry out the authentication process. So let's say if the authentication filter at the very beginning is, let's say, username and password authentication filter, then in that case, we will be having a user details service configured, which will actually take in the credential or the request body which was passed along with the request by the client, and it will go and look into the database via a user details service, and it will retrieve the user information. If that user is available in the system or in the database, it will return a user details, right? and it will match the username and the credentials which was passed, and once it is successful or it is matching, it will pass the authentication object back to the authentication provider. This authentication object which is passed back to the authentication provider will be having the principal and the authorities. So by principal we mean here the username or the password or the credentials, whatever is being configured to be sent out as a principal, and authorities which will be basically the roles, right? The user who is trying to authenticate, what role that user has, that will be also combined with that principal and will be set into an authentication object. Then authentication provider will pass it backward to authentication manager. Then it will again pass it backward to authentication filter. Now this authentication filter will be having this authentication object. It will set that authentication object into a security context which is provided by the Spring. We'll be looking afterwards what is security context in detail. So once this authentication object is set into the security context, and this security context will be inside a security context holder, then what happens is now the user is authenticated and the authentication object is available in security context. So this particular request is authenticated, user will get access to the resource, and whenever a same subsequent request comes into this filter chain, it will again, in spite of going to the whole chain and fetch the user details, it will go to the security context holder and it will access the security context and it will retrieve this authentication object. If it is available, if it matches, if the authentication gets established with this authentication object, then the user gets authenticated and it will not follow the whole chain. This is the high level of authentication and authorization in Spring Security. There are much more detail than this. So now let us understand some of the important terms used in the diagram. So what is authentication object? Authentication manager returns this object after a successful authentication, right? And this particular object will consist of two things. One is principal, that can be a username, password, or the password can also be removed due to security concern or the leakage. But principal will basically hold the user information like username and the credentials. Then the authorities will be having roles of that user, like what actually that user is allowed to do. So this is what determines the authorization of a particular user. Okay, so this authority is very important in authorization. Then what is security context holder? Security context holder is where Spring stores the details of who is authenticated. So no matter how many requests Spring is receiving, all of those authenticated result will be stored inside a Spring context holder. And what is security context? The security context is obtained from the security context holder and contains the authentication of currently authenticated user. Security context holder uses a thread local to store these details. So whatever authentication object which comes as part of the authentication process, that gets stored inside a security context holder, right? And that security context holder actually uses a thread local to store these details, which means that the security context is always available to the methods in the same thread of execution. Even if the security context is not explicitly passed around as an argument to this method, because of this thread local, that security context will always be available as part of the same execution of the thread. So that's it for today. So these two are some of the references where you can find much more deeper details about Spring Security. And these are the two official documentation of Spring. I would recommend you to go and read thoroughly these two references so that you will be having a pretty good solid idea on Spring Security. So that's it for today's session. If you liked till here, please like the video and subscribe to the channel.